Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM22. It's Classics Puncher, and this is episode 28. I'm sorry for venting a little bit at the end of that last episode. Uh, I don't know what's up with this series and this being the place that I've chosen to vent my occasional frustration. I know it's only been a few times, but regardless, this game seems to have a tendency to hit back at me really hard, though. This series in particular, the career mode one, I don't seem to suffer much. Things tend to be fairly balanced, and I perform well, and it is what it is. Here, I just keep getting hit over and over again. I know I could have pushed and kept that gap the way it was, but there's plenty of time, plenty of riders around to recover the gap. No big deal. But I've had another -5 draw today. As a team, we have a net -14 on what was expected. Of course, 5 of that is myself. Expectation, still finish in the top 5. See if we can pull that off. At least reality is I'm losing 2 downhill points and a stamina and resistance point is all. But there was definitely high expectations with my fitness peak and the expected +3 today. So we'll see if we can still pull something together. We have a breakaway of just 3 riders and just 3 minutes, their advantage. And again, like I said, I easily pulled, or other riders easily pulled that gap back, as I knew they would. I was not worried about it at this stage. 100k still to go in this one. It's Dwars, Vlaanderen. It's the baby Vlaanderen. Not the Ronde, but it's still a pretty big race. So we'll see if we can achieve a top 5 now against a higher tier of rider. That 65 mountain absolutely could be a factor in a race such as this one with plenty of uphill sections. I might have a good cobble rating, but I definitely don't have the mountain rating. If I had that +3, we'd have enough bonuses to be hovering around a 70 in that mountain rating, in which case I would feel pretty confident. Right now, not so much. The stamina is okay. The sprint part I'm not too worried about. Cobble rating is fine. But for us, our weakness, of course, is that mountain rating. And the race day condition bonus should have addressed that somewhat. Right now it's not. So little nervous about how we're going to do with 71k to go, but the peloton has already been split in half. The 3 riders still have a 2-minute advantage, but it's coming down relatively quick. We've got a long while before we get into that final group of cobbled sections, and I'm tired, and all I have is Venturini and Rue, Lacroix are done. So this is going to be a long solo ride for me in the not too distant future, and that's going to I think that's going to rule me out of a top 5 today. I'm not feeling it right now. As we're getting the first group of long range classics riders, Barradour style, going for it. And that makes 8 riders off the front, 64, now 23 at the moment in chase, as the group is thinning out more and more. Rue has been dropped, 55 riders to go, and we're coming into that first really hard one here in a moment, and this is where I'm getting really nervous about our chances. 4 stars, cobbled sector. We'll go effort up for a little bit, but this is mostly about just trying to maintain. Luckily, nobody's choosing to attack through here. It's the punchy ones that I'm worried about. Like that. 4-star uphill cobbled sector. Venturini is gone, and I am now on my own. Paterberg. Another, because it's steep. It's short, though. Look how fast I went to the back of that group. Barely held on to the back end and actually lose contact there briefly. And the group has split. This is using a lot of energy to try to bridge that gap as it continues on with the Koppenberg coming up. That's it. We're done. We're done. Use that hill rating a little bit to try to go faster. But no. Nope. Peloton just thinned out yet further, and I've got barely anything left with what's to come. No top 5 today. I'm not even sure we're going to crack top 25. Got a mountain rating. Doing me in. Doing me dirty. Gel. Not much left in the tank for me. Not much left. Camera. Leaving me alone. Leaving this group alone. We've been ditched by the Peloton and now by the camera motorbike as well. One cobble sector is all that's left, but barely anything left in the tank for me. And still, that last one is another climb, but only 2 stars. Barely hanging on to the back end of the group. Barely with enough energy. And it's another slight uphill that just did whatever energy I had left, even though there wasn't a whole lot of tempo to that. I mean, the heart rate wasn't even that high, but it just wiped me out, the last of what I had. See if we can get just an ounce of recovery for the finish, but I'm on the verge of getting dropped here. Matthew Van Der Poel has taken the lead ahead of Kung, Lavelle, and De Wolf. 1.8k, nothing left for the sprint. Puts me at the very tail end of the group. That was for 14th through 20th, but that's 27th, so I don't even finish in the top 25. Big ouchie today, but that -5 was the main cause. 0 team support for final kilometers, and that huge negative draw. We are very dependent on it for most of the tougher races, like this one. And we've entered our all-important contract page where our version of the dossiers has opened up. What teams are out there and who do we apply our contact of interest? And of course, we set a rule for what this series was going to be, and of course that is why we've spent the entirety of our career so far with Total Energies, where we had to go after, the top team that was seeking our services for the next year. So again, the rules apply that is Bora Hansgrohe. That is the best team on paper looking to sign us, even though they are not particularly interested. Lotto Soudal would definitely be a better signing. Lotto Soudal would definitely, profile-wise, of having a lot of classics riders as a Belgian team, it would be a much better signing for us, probably, as we'd be surrounded by other strong riders of our style, a team that targets classics. But rules are rules, and we're going to have to try to sign with our native Bora Hansgrohe, as we, of course, are playing as a German, my ancestry, heritage, and so Schelling, Koish, and Elioti are the top guys here. We got a puncher climber, we've got a sprinter, and we have a puncher couple rating. So looks like we would potentially be the top classics guy there, and we do have 2 contacts of interest per period right now. I might have to boost that up with our next level up, which isn't too far off now, by the way, just to make sure we do get a contract offer from them, as we definitely cannot be waiting around for Total Energies yet another year. That's not going to happen, so we've got to make sure we get them. The double contacts should help with that, but I think that's still only going to get us about halfway up. Claiming a few wins should boost us up, but to ensure that, I might have to use my next skill point on those contact points. All right, so we have a big-time lofty goal here, and we'll just see what we can do with it. They want me to finish in the top 30. For that part, I love this type of profile. I was commenting last episode how I never get these this year, or at least in this series, this playthrough. I never get this type of you're a total outsider, so we don't expect much from you type circumstances. But they did throw in that they want me in the breakaway. My -5 draw the other day has today turned out at least a +2, as I do have that maximum +5 rating for the day. So we have a much better shot at getting something. And with a 71 mountain, it's possible. There isn't a ton of climbing at this race. It is a lot of undulation, though. It's just not the hardest climbs. It's short climbs. And with a strong stamina resistance, and certainly very capable with the flat and sprinting, you know, we could maybe get something here. But being in the break all day is going to make it come down entirely to whether we can stay away as a unit. Otherwise, we'll easily be caught and absorbed by the field. And so I'll have to be kind of keeping an eye on two things. Are we away long enough, as we are now a group of 11 and we are pulling out that gap over the peloton? For now, it is approaching 4 minutes, but it already seems to be hovering, locking in. If it's locking in at less than 4, I don't like our chances today. Do not like our chances, but we do have a sizable group. But it's a sizable group that's going to have to push hard later on if it's to stay away. Out to 4 minutes now. I'm going to try to do kind of just the minimum, as I'm still thinking about maybe falling back and getting protected by somebody in the field. It looks like I would have some support as we ride through the walls of that town. I'm not sure the last time somebody rode through walls in Twister. I remember them riding through walls in Twister. Ooh, move my camera back over. Pushing forward to the midway point here in the race, and we had over 5 minutes there, but they've already pulled us back to 3, and we have not accelerated. We are riding the same tempo we were, so breakaway really not giving the type of effort necessary to have any chance of winning today, which means we're very likely going to be pulled back in, but at least we are achieving a good amount of our objective. It is taking more out of my legs, but with a very high stamina today, I'm not going to be as impacted as we wear down our energy levels. So, we'll have a decent amount of max energy remaining. But either way, this is, regardless, going to have an impact. Peloton has split in half. That would be really good if, as they catch up to us, there's less of them here. We've got 3 more sizable claims, and we've at least gotten to 75% of the objective, but I do have that sinking feeling that we are, it's only a matter of time until we are caught. They didn't let us get that big of a gap earlier, and then when they did let it go out a bit, they pulled it back quite quickly. So let's go ahead and get water before something happens, and the group temporarily split there just because I reached for water. The effort has definitely gone up, but this is not the time or place that I want it to go up. I'd rather see us save it. We've at least hit the 100% mark on the objective, so that's good. And the gap's back out to 230, so we are pushing a lot harder than we were to try to maintain it, and I'm getting a good amount of recovery on this descent, but I worry about this next climb. This is where my 71 mountain today could be a bit of an issue, as some of these guys really, really push on, and we're already starting to wear into that maximum, but you can see how it's not really getting impacted a whole lot. But a hefty climb is going to be hurtful as we drop our first rider, and that peloton has really, really closed that gap on us, by the way, down to just over a minute. It's my first time contributing in a while as we get smaller and smaller as a group now. 8 riders left, and suddenly nobody wants to contribute. Why is that? Because we're nearly caught? Slow things down as we take the acrobatic descent option, or not. There we go. Now we'll take the acrobatic descent option. Get a little acceleration in there. It's 1 minute over the peloton, by the way. And nobody wants to push too hard anymore. We're at 13 riders. We've caught some favorites. We've caught some favorites in this one. 48 seconds over the field. And I'm still looking fairly strong, but this is definitely not perfect as we're down to 11 and down to 30 seconds. Back in the group, Kalmajan is looking strong, and we would have Kalmajan's support. Looks like we're giving up. Looks like we're giving up. Just 30 seconds, 20 seconds. And we've been caught by the peloton. Let's sit up. Let's get your support. Let somebody else support Pierre Latour. Or it looks like Ferron. I don't know why that is. Latour is one of the favorites today. He's in the top 10 list of favorites. Nobody else is on the team. And wow, look at this. Nobody wants to ride today, as you know, favorites are riding away here. There you go. Bridge that gap. Bridge that gap. There you go. Now it's 3 guys going clear. I'm going to end up having to do the work myself. 23K to go. Now somebody wants to ride. Nobody did. When that group first started to take off, back together. 41 riders left in contention. We needed a top 30 on the day. We're looking strong for that. I think with Kalmajan leading over this climb to come, we'll be in good shape to ride for what's going later. Let's check the profile. Very hard final climb, very punchy. These next climb is where we need Kalmajan to really give us some support, and then I want to use him as a lead out near the top, I would think, on this climb. Nope, there's guys trying to take off here. Kalmajan, let's try to negate that if we could, please. How are you as a climber? You're punchy as well. Let's see what an 87 does. As you can see, 10 riders splitting off right there. That wakes up the field a little bit. That was an awfully large group. 9 of them still off the front at the moment. Into that final climb in this, well, setup climb here. This is not where we want to attack, because this is not my type of profile. It's the next one that's punchy that we have a better chance of escaping on, as Godou is on the attack. Vingegaard is chasing. See, he's setting that kind of tempo that's going to be hard for me to really... I've just lost control of Kalmajan. We're still following him. Still following him, but we lost control of Kalmajan. Down to 16, by the way. 13 now. 9. Ferron is still here as well, so 3 out of the 9 riders from my team. Wow, that's good for us. Wout Poels is the one being chased there. Not a ton of energy left, but if we can stay on Kalmajan's wheel for a little while longer, as Ferron tries to attack, and we've got to let him, as it's a teammate. And we'll continue to follow Kalmajan. Kalmajan leading me out, chasing it back into contact with Ferron at the front of the field right now. 6K to go. And this is over the top of the setup climb. This wasn't much to that one. It's the next one that is short and super steep, where I will attack. So we will want to use that sneak, and here we go, into the attack. 2.5K to go, and here's where we're going to try to use our punchiness to escape and go clear, and we are back up into a top 4 position here. Top 5 position, and 1K to go to the finish, and I'm not sure if we can out sprint these guys on our way towards the finish line. No, we cannot, but we can get a podium. Van Aert, no, it's Vingegaard ahead of Poels, and 3rd place. 3rd place. Team expected top 30. Soler was 4th. Ferron was 5th. So we get a 3-5 for our team, which is solid. Look at it. Who's here? Godou, Swift, Tisfatien. I mean, that's strong riders. Kalmajan grabs 10th as well. So a 3-5-10 for the team. It is a very, very solid performance. Ferron attacked. I had to play the team thing there for a second and let him have it. And then we answered back and responded. Enough to get to third, not quite to the win. Vingegaard was going to be a tough catch, but we attacked at the time we wanted to attack. I just didn't want there to be riders away at that time, and there were, but we pulled back all but those last two over that final climb. Another strong result, though. Good for the points. Let's check in where we're at. Big double plus for us. We get third in the race when they had the mild expectations, but we also got the big breakaway max points as well. So 63 points earned today, 13 away from leveling up. We are very, very close to that next level. We also have a little break before we get into our next race, and so little time to rest and recover before we go forward. Now into April. Only one World Tour race recently, and we did not do well. That was the one, the -5 draw we had. So 25th is where we stand in the World Tour a couple weeks later, but we are continuing to crush it at continental level as we are first with Sean Quinn, the closest to us. And Super Prestige, still in the top 10. Real good start to the season. Real good start. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.